Welcome back, horror fans. BH Pumpkinclaw here. Pennywise the Dancing Clown, also known as Mr. Bob Gray. What is it? Where did it come from? What is the purpose of its slumber in eating the children's meat saturated with fear? These are questions and debates that have filled message rooms at the far edges of the internet and are ever increasing as we get closer and closer to the reimagining of King's masterpiece. Now, I am proposing a darker origin to it, and in no way saying that this is exactly canon, a more fun theory to create an assumption and tease the inspirational source for Stephen King that Pennywise may have ancestral origins from Middle-earth. For one, let us begin with the ancient one, Ungoliant. The word means dark spider, and is a primordial being that chose to take the shape of a giant spider as it came to the area. In the Silmarillion, Tolkien explains that she is a primeval old one of the night with an uncontrolled hunger. She collaborated with Melkor, later known as Morgoth, who convinced Ungoliant to attack the trees of Valinor, draining them of their sap. In Tolkien's novel Valinor was the place where angelic beings derived and had two trees, one of silver and one of gold. And the dew was made of liquid form of magic light that was destroyed by Ungoliant when she sucked all the source from the trees, thus killing them. After she attacked Varda, drinking the reserves of light from their wells, the Valar attacked her, forcing her to flee to a land called No Land, and created a home made of dark light webs called Unlight. There, Ungoliant mated with the giant spiders of the area, creating a horde of evil spawn. One was well known to residents in the mountains of Mordor, known as Shelob. Ungoliant was presumed to have perished by her own hunger. With an infinite emptiness ever growing, it was rumored that she ultimately ate herself, leaving her undetermined amount of children to ravage the land and spread out across Middle-earth. Now, am I saying that Pennywise is Ungoliant? No. But I am saying there are marvelous similarities between this ancient being and the thing from the Macroverse. The idea could be flirted with that possibly not only was Pennywise a product of Ungoliant, but maybe another character from King's Dark Tower series was as well. Let us start with the origin of it. The Macroverse is described as a void surrounding our present universe. It is later described in the Dark Tower series as the Todash universe, or a purgatory-like existence in between the infinite alternate universes we live in. This puts it and brethren in the realm as the turtle, or Madarin. Madarin is the eternal enemy of it, representing creation, as opposed to its representation of consumption. Madarin is also one of the 12 guardians of the beams, that like a spiral on a wheel, is the power that holds up the Dark Tower. These beams are forces that have no age and derive from the beginning of the universe. Each beam has a guardian in figurative form of an animal. This is very similar to the enemy of Ungoliant, the Valar, who attacked her after she drained the lights from the wells of Varda. The Valar are types of gods, or angelic beings. They have no physical form, but often took the shape of men, elves, or other creatures from nature, with 14 in all, 7 lords and 7 queens. Next, let us investigate the Deadlights, a living darkness that possibly had an orange tint to it, with the ability to cause great suffering and death, with soul-destroying powers. Pennywise was said to be made of this darkness, and the Crimson King from Dark Tower series and Insomnia holds this magical ability as well, as the capability of shape-shifting into whatever his victim fears. In King lore, it could be speculated that the Crimson King and it are 2 of the 6 greater demon elementals, as was described in the Song of Susanna, from the Prim, or also known as the Void. In Tolkien lore, these are characteristics shared with Ungoliant, who produced the Unlight. The Unlight was an inexplicable and ever-encompassing nothingness of horror and dread, taking in all light that crossed its path. It was described as similar to silk, but indestructible and thick, and polluted the area with terrible darkness, with the ability to disorient and distract. At this point, I am sure I have infuriated King fans, and positive that Tolkien fans have already hit the dislike button. For those that have stuck with me on my thesis, you are probably at the point asking where I am going with this. I am simply entertaining the concept that out of the unknown amount of Ungoliant's children, some inherited an ability to change form. One or more of her lineage broke out of Tolkien's verse, with one landing specifically in prehistoric Derry. Since her ancestral line had knowledge of man and other beings, it was aware of their eventual evolution, biding its time to feast on the fear from the light of children. Ungoliant had an unsatisfied hunger. It knew this, and saw as a potential weakness with fatal consequences, choosing to create a home territory where it would hibernate every 30 years, allowing food source to flourish, then rise and feast, completely undisturbed for hundreds of years. Since there is a balance in the cosmos, it was confronted with the force of the beams, in this case the turtle, who it eventually was able to kill. The ultimate fatal ignorance was a lack of understanding of the light of children, and the power to combine into a force capable of destroying darkness, which was the creation of the turtle. The strength of friendship overcame it, as the strength of Sam to defend Frodo after he was poisoned by Shelob, one of Ungoliant's known children, helped save the hobbits. There is no secret that King was greatly inspired and drew his imagination from reading Tolkien, and though I am drawing thin conclusions based on two separate stories from two different writers, as a fan I am interested and find it intriguing to imagine that there are some connections. So when I reread it again, I like to pretend when the part comes where Richie and Mike see the Great Orange Flash breaking into our universe, that there is a slight possibility that where it came from was primordial Middle-earth. Just a little flexing of my imagination, nothing more. What do you think? Any theories of your own on the origins of Pennywise? Comment below and please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Stay scared.